Temi Otedola gets so lucky. Well, have you seen me scoring? It was released earlier this year and it was one movie I felt we should do a flashback on. So, a quick story about the movie. The movie takes us, well, before we go so far, we see from the first saying that in the late 90s, I think about 1980 something, I can't remember the exact year, some white people, foreign people had come to a particular village and, you know, while they were trying to make certain discoveries and all of that, taking pictures and all, they approached this certain tree. And one of the villagers or the people who live in that village, I presume, had advised the white man and the photographer and every other person that was there that, oh, they should avoid that tree and leave that vicinity. But well, you know how the white can get, and sometimes some of us who are educated, we feel everything is superstitious. So he felt it was nonsense. The white man felt, oh, nonsense, and he took on the dead animal that was still dripping blood and decided to take a picture in front of that tree. The blood of the dead animal dripped on the tree and it led to a catastrophe. Everyone lost their life brutally. So a quick warning, if you're like me and you do not like to watch certain scary movies at night, please don't watch this at night. It is not the kind of movie you want to watch at night. You watch it during the day, early in the morning once the day is bright. So that happened and they all lost their life. Now to the late 90s, it was about 1998 or 99 thereabout. And the school, there's now a school on that same structure, sorry, on that same piece of land. I wouldn't really call it, let's say, acres of land or large expanse of land because the school was really big. The school called Sterling Academy was built on that same spot, and students were in the school. It was a boarding school, and all of that. The final year students were preparing for their WAEC, and so they had just written their mock exam, and some of them did very well, others didn't do so well. Though the principal was still disappointed because his expectations were higher. And here comes Temi Otedola playing the role of Amara. There comes the Toluwani judge, I guess that's her name, playing the role of Chisom. You have Kanaga Jr., I guess that's how his name is pronounced, playing the role of Finditi. We have a lady called Lami. We have a lady called Fiona. Then we have Uti. I can't remember Uti's name right now, but he is quite familiar in movies these days too. So, and a host of other boarding school students. He has a proper boarding school setting. Everybody is living their life. After the principal disapproved, we see Amara, played by Temi Otedola, in her room crying because she had a C in her French mock exam. And if she cannot turn in all A's at her WAEC, she would not be given admission to Harvard. Her dream was to go to Harvard. So she was crying, she felt sad and all. And while Lami was trying to console her, Fiona felt, oh, to make Amara feel better, and to make her feel like she was kind of an ingrate. I really didn't understand that, but I want to be. I don't know if she was trying to make her feel better or she was trying to make Amara feel like you're an ingrate, but she said, oh, so what do you want Lami, who has all C's and one A, to do? After all, she's your bestie. While they were at that, we realized that Amara has a clique of friends, and that is where all of them come in. Lami being in the clique, Fiona, Uti, and Finditi or Finn. I think you call him Finn. Yeah, we're all in a clique. And here comes Chisom, who used to be Amara's bestie before she started rolling with the big boys and girls in school. And so They had all of that, and Amara was crying. They were trying to console her. Finn had promised her that even if she didn't pass, his father was capable, had the powers to get her into Harvard, and she should not worry about her. She should not worry her head about it because he felt, oh, he and I think he said that because he loved her, he had a crush on her and he liked her as a person and all of that. And I love how Amara said, oh no, irrespective of whatever your father can do, my father has told me that the only way to getting into Harvard is to have a perfect score SAT of 1600. So I do not believe that rubbish you're telling me. But anyways, while they were at that, Chisom decided to chip in and told Amara that, oh, how about you focus more on studies and focus less on this friendship for now? Focus more on your books. We have 2 weeks to the exam and you can still turn in A in French. And that led to a bit of, a a misunderstanding or a battering of words rather. So they were exchange of word, and before we knew it, Chisom found something really off in her decks, and she confronted Finn, who denied it, that there was no way he could have dropped a piece of letter with a used condom inside her desk. He's writing the notes, writing a note attached to it saying, give it to your father. Well, from his facial expression before Chisom saw what was in her decks, I felt Finn was guilty and he was the one behind it. And it didn't seem like any other person could have been. But anyways, they got punished for it. They got into the farm. They were told to go rake manures in the soil and all thanks to Mr. Mustafa. He made sure that everyone was duly punished. Poor Lami, she was on her way out to go to her own class when she got punished alongside the others. And then that goes on. We see them sneaking out. Everything that happens in a typical boarding school happened in that movie. You see them sneaking out in the night to a certain part of the school, inside, deep into the forest. And here comes that scary tree that had killed people years back. That was where they decided to sit because Finn had said that he had read it in some book that the tree was scary and had some bad history, and he didn't believe it. He felt, oh, people are just so gullible. And you can imagine when they said, one of them had said, I don't know if it was Lami, someone had said it among them, that if anything happens to us after today, it's on you. Like, here comes the teachers in the school. We have Miss Coyne, the star of the movie, played by Mitchell Dede, and Mr. Musti. They happen to, have a thing together. More like, I think Mr. Musti does likes her, and he was expecting that maybe at some point he would graduate to other things. And here comes Miss Coyne, the French teacher. Amara had approached her that could she drop French, or no, she didn't say that. She said she would have really loved that Miss Coyne assisted her. But a quick backstory so that the WAEC body had brought in the WAEC exam questions few days to the exam because they had claimed that they were understaffed. And when Miss Coyne had asked, oh, even if they were understaffed, what happened to employing NYC members? And they had said, oh, the last set they employed had sold out exam questions to certain students and they were trying to avoid that. So they felt in order for the questions to get in on time, let them just give it to each school. I believe each school will be able to keep it securely, and they trusted these exam book questions in the hands of Miss Coyne. On our way out, alongside the principal of the school, here comes Chisom with their dog Petra. Mind you, Chisom is the principal's daughter, so she lives with her father. She doesn't stay in the hostel but within the school premises. So here comes Chisom with the dog, and while Chisom was coming, before then, Amara had met Chisom on the way, and she was trying to start up a conversation with her. Chisom wasn't having it. She felt, you stopped being friends with me for a very long time. How come you're trying to be friends with me now? So while at that, Amara had told Chisom that she was on her way to Chisom's dad's house, the principal's house, to go ask him if she could drop French because she didn't want anything to hinder her from getting into Harvard that year. So, and Chisom said, well, she wasn't sure her father would approve. But anyways, they got to the quarters, and here comes Chisom and a dog. And because Miss Coin is scared of dogs, the moment she sighted the dog, she lost guards and she flung the exam exam questions, you know, wherever it could land without paying attention. By the time she got the grip of herself, Amara had handed over the envelope of the questions to her and all of that. And obviously, Amara had now known that, oh, Miss Coin had the questions to the exam, to all of the exams we were going to write, and she decided not to talk to the principal again. And you could imagine other things started running through Amara's head. She went ahead to see Miss Coin the next day, pleading with her if she could assist her, telling her that she decided to take French because Miss Coin said it was going to be a breeze for them, and that she has struggled with French. She had read and read and read. She said she had even struggled with French more than she had ever struggled with physics or math, and that she didn't want anything to hinder her from getting into Harvard. Miss Coin advised her that they do extra lesson, but she said she was done doing extra lesson and she just wanted Miss Coin to, you know, give her the French questions for her to practice in her house, just to have an idea of what the questions are about and so she can pass. But Miss Coin was against that. She said, hell no, she wasn't going to do that. Amara decided to leave, and she decided to leave Miss Coin angrily, so we thought. Apparently, she met Mr. Mustafa on the way and she decided to eavesdrop on them while Mr. Mustafa went into Miss Coin's space. And he met Miss Coin, crying and being frustrated about the whole job and the environment she finds herself. And he promised her to take her on a date. Amara got hold of that information and decided to strike. So she went back to her friends and told them that she had found the perfect way for them to pass the exam with no struggles. Bearing in mind that Uti needed to pass his own exams in order to, I think there was something attached to it, I can't remember, maybe an award or something, or a record breaking thing. Then Lami also needed to pass all her exams in order for her to get into New York. So she had friends who had similar issues, like similar target like she did, and they all agreed eventually, but they needed someone who could help them get into Miss Coin's space. And here comes Chisom. Amara blackmailed Chisom into helping her get into Miss Coin's space. So when Miss Coin went over the weekend for a date, they got in. Amara Chisom handed over the keys to Miss Coin's house to them and she left. They got in while trying to look for the exam questions. They searched everywhere, combed everywhere. They couldn't find these exam questions. On the other hand, Miss Coin couldn't get her this successfully, even though she was picked up by Mr. Mustafa because his car was rickety and the car had developed a fault. So they struggled and decided to return back home. So she came back to her base earlier than imagined. Every other person in the clique decided to elope, leaving only Amara within the quarters of Miss Coin. And Amara also wasn't ready to get her because she was so hell-bent on getting the exam question. Miss Coin comes in and realized the house has been turned upside down and she knew somebody had broken. While trying to get hold of the person, she first went ahead to check the gas cooker, and here it was. Who could have imagined that a teacher would keep the exam questions in the gas cooker, the oven section? And Amara cited that. Chisom came and she realized Amara was still inside. She was so angry that the rest of Amara's friend would leave her in and escape. And so she decided to go get Amara. While she went to get Amara, she told Finn, the wrongest person on planet, to hold on to Petra, her dog. Miss Coney came out thanks to Chisholm's distraction, and here comes Finn with the dog, s- staring directly at Miss Coin. He realized from the reaction of Miss Coin that she was terrified by the dog, and he released the dog to chase her just to get just to get his revenge from her because he felt she had slapped him during a prep section in school, and he wanted to get his revenge. Well, that revenge went too far because that ended the life of Miss Coin. She ran into the bush and she hit her head on the forbidden tree, whereby her blood touching the tree. And then after, the tree swallowed her up, and here comes the vengeance. The first person to die horribly or gruesomely was Lammy. It was so sad. Poor Lammy. I felt bad for her. I don't understand why Finn wasn't the first person to die. After Lammy died, they didn't read so much meaning to it. Before Lammy had died, Chisom was worried. She found her dog dead. She couldn't find Miss Coin. Mr. Mustafa was also worried about Miss Coin. Bearing in mind that, so after Lami died, the next person to go was Uti. Uti lost his life while swimming in the school pool. After that, the next person to go was Fiona. On her way home, she lost her life. And then the next person was Finn. Finn was the fourth person to lose his life. And after Finn, by the time Finn lost his life, they had gone ahead to find out what really caused it, and that was when they realized the whole story, that it was a forbidden tree that should have been destroyed long ago, but because it was sold to the school, there was nothing to be done about it, and the only way was to, get it destroyed. After all of that happened, they were trying to destroy the tree, and Mr. Mustafa almost lost his life, but thankfully he survived. But the principal lost his life, and it was a very sad one. Oh my God. Now to what I think. I love the fact that it is giving memories of a boarding school setting, from the food to the bullying to everything that happened. You know, the food setting felt like it gave me this not boarding school memories and all of that, and it was really cool. But one thing I didn't get was, why did Amara and Finn, why did Finn die last, and why did Amara leave? Amara even had the opportunity to sit for the exam the following year, like. And what happened to Chisom after? We were not told what happened to Chisom. How did she continue life? What happened to Mustafa after? And what happened to the school? We're not told all of that. We just saw that Mara wrote exam in another school the following year. What really happened? Was at the end of the school, nothing was said. The tree that was destroyed, we realized that after that, the tree sprouted out again, and this time it was sprouting red flowers. Did that really signify that it was sprouting out his coin's vengeance or what? Because I mean, quite a number of people had died on that same tree before she did. And why each I think the lesson in that movie would be that before we invest in certain things, we should find out the history. The school or whoever owned the school purchased the land without finding out the history. And even for the villagers that sold the land, if they wanted to destroy the land and the land had been sold to somebody else, there was nothing stopping them from going to explain to the new owners that this and this and this is what happened, and we need to destroy it. Look at the number of lives, innocent children that had to go. I felt really bad for Lami, for Fiona, and for Uti. Honestly, I felt really bad for them, and also Miss Coin. And this movie just gives a similar storyline with Madam Coin Coin. I almost don't see the difference. It feels like the same storyline. If you see Madam Coin Coin, then it's giving the same vibe. But in all, it's a great movie, quite scary, and I would say to not see it at night if you don't like scary movie. So, but yeah, you all need to go see Miss Coin if you haven't seen it. I think it was released on Prime. Yeah, it's out on Prime. So